So our guest today is a two-time All-Interact selection and three-year captain of the girls volleyball team. She recently announced her commitment to the University of Chicago to continue her volleyball career, and this year she also achieved her 1,000th kill. We are so pleased to welcome Natalie Schildt to the Around the Academy podcast. Natalie, thanks for doing this. How are you?
Of course, I'm good. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming. There's a lot we wanted to ask you, but first off, at what age did you first get interested in volleyball, and what sparked your interest?
My mom actually played volleyball at Villanova, so that's what kind of got me into it. So I started in sixth grade, which is pretty late. Most people start in like third grade around then. So I ended up actually, starting really late. But I don't know, I was tall in the first place, so I wasn't that good when I first started because everyone else already had more experience than me. But they were like, oh, she's tall, we'll take her, try to figure out something to do with her. So, yeah.
Being tall, did you just gravitate to volleyball since that's a sport where you see a lot of tall people compete?
I mean, yeah, and just because my mom played, like, I always knew that that was the sport I would end up sticking with.
So volleyball, many people may not think this, but it's a very difficult sport. What do you think the most difficult thing about playing is?
I think it's how like intense it can get so quickly because it's not like every other like most other sports at least where you're on like a bigger field or whatever. Like it's such a small court and like everyone is like hitting so fast at you and you just have to think so quickly. Like balls coming at you probably 70, 80 miles per hour and you have like a split second to move your feet and get there. So, yeah.
You've mentioned how hard some people hit the ball. You obviously can hit very hard. How hard do you think your fastest spike has been?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably like 90 miles per hour, I'd say, but I don't know. I honestly don't like some of my friends on my club team can hit way harder than me. I'm more of like a skills and spots player. So, yeah.
Is that a difficult thing to do when you're trying to hit a spike? You don't want to. You have to place it well, but at the same time, you have to put it in the perfect spot and keep it. Is that a difficult thing to do?
Yes, it's really difficult, and honestly, you mess up all the time and just get screamed at on the court. So, it's hard mentally too, just knowing like exactly you have to put it in, like just a like 1 inch by 1 inch like perfect spot on this small court. Yeah, it's really hard.
What do you think a common misconception about the game of volleyball is?
Um, I would say probably what we were talking about earlier, that it's just like I don't know, I feel like when you see it like people playing volleyball in movies and everything, it's just like they're just like passing it back and forth over the net, but it gets just like really, really intense, like all bruises all up my legs all the time from just like having to dive super hard on the floor and like the ball hits your arms sometimes, like your arms can like get just like super red and bruised. So yeah, I think it's a lot more intense than people think.
A lot of it's not just an individual game. It's also a lot of it's a team sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I always say I think it's the most like interactive sport there is because it's like you can't just have one good player and be a good team. You have to have like a whole team chemistry because like not one person can just like pass set and hit it over the net. Like you have to get everyone involved every single play.
So as part of volleyball, you're constantly moving around as part of that rotation. Do you have to prepare for multiple positions because of that?
Yes, we like, or maybe not for high school, but for club most of the time, we like have a ton of different plays. So it's like, yeah, you kind of have to know what you're running before and then like maybe switch it up, like know different positions and everything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's something else many people may not know. Volleyball is a very schematic game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Gets kind of annoying sometimes when you have to remember so many different things at once, honestly, but yeah, that's like because it is like again, it's like such a small court, you have to like do other things other than just hit the ball really hard from the same spot every time in order to score points.
Do you like being the person that your team relies on to get those kills and get points for your team?
Yeah, I do honestly, just because I don't know, I feel like it's obviously a good feeling when you're that person on any team, like regardless of whatever sport you're playing, but I don't know, I think of it more as like being the person to like get everyone else excited. That's what I really like about it. Not specifically like getting points, but just like getting everyone excited to play and excited about like doing their best all the time.
Now, I've mentioned you've been a captain since your sophomore year. Do you think leadership is the biggest attribute you bring to your team?
Yeah, I definitely would say that, especially yeah, being a captain 3 out of 4 years of my high school career. I think that was like the number one thing I've tried to be focused on throughout high school because it wasn't just playing all the time. It was really leading the team to an undefeated season this year and everything like that.
What skills do you think are most important to be able to compete and succeed in volleyball at a high level?
Um, I think it's more of like perseverance and a mental game that are the most important because like I said earlier, it's really easy to mess up a lot and you just have to know how to like get yourself past that. Like I know it's been a huge issue for like a ton of my teammates just like getting mentally into it after messing up one time and like it's all on you. Like if you hit the ball out, that's obviously your fault. So I don't know, just being able to get over that hump after getting yelled at by your coaches and everything, it's really hard to get back into it. So I'd say that's the hardest thing, the biggest thing to focus on.
You're a great club volleyball player, also a great school volleyball player. What's your favorite part about playing both?
I think my favorite part is because they're both so different. I think it's getting to like preseason of high school and just getting really into high school season where it's less like intense all the time. Like club is like traveling to a new city every single weekend, having to be on your game 24/7, like having to show off for all these coaches watching you 24/7. It just gets really stressful and it's easy to get lost in that stress and forget like why you started playing in the first place. But then high school comes around and it really helps to realize that again, just like having fun with girls that also go to your school and you see it every day and just like I don't know. I feel like it's just such a nice break to actually enjoy your sport.
You guys had a great season. For anyone who doesn't know, you went 5-0 in the season, undefeated. What do you think? You had a great season last year. You were co-champs of the Interact with Notre Dame. But what do you think the biggest adjustment or improvement the team made to achieve the level of success you guys did this year?
I think it was honestly, I don't think it was any of our like specific playing or specific skills. I think it was just our team chemistry being most of our team being seniors this year. We've all had a while to kind of get really close with each other. Like me, Mackenzie Smith, Colleen Gibbons, and Becca Booth specifically. Shout out to them. But yeah, I think we've had a while to kind of just like figure out what each other's playing styles are and really develop that chemistry that helped us to like get excited each game and push through this year.
So as you mentioned, you were co-champs with Notre Dame for the Interact title last year, runners-up to them in the PACE tournament last year, and Notre Dame's been really good. It's been you guys the past 2 years. They've won a share of the Interact dating all the way back to 2012. What was it like beating them twice this year?
It was probably my favorite part of the season by far this year just because we went into it really not knowing. We knew that we were really like both even this year in terms of like everything, just like how good we were and team chemistry. So it was a toss up. So beating them once obviously was amazing, but then doing it again just to prove that we really were the better team was probably the best feeling ever.
What was your biggest goal, whether it was individual or as a team, heading into the season?
I think our biggest goal was to beat Notre Dame twice. So yeah, that's what we were really focused on all year.
What facets of about volleyball, whether it's club or team, whether it's practice, training, or the games, what are those facets have been different this year, if any?
Um, I think really this year the main thing has just been using our own time to the best of our ability because it's like you can't get in the gym as much this year. You can't have as much in-person training. So I think the biggest thing that's changed this year is just like training on your own time and knowing what to do and everything like that.
So as you mentioned, you reached 1,000 kills throughout your GA career. Did you know you were so close to 1,000 kills heading into the season, and is that something you think about when you're playing?
Yeah, it honestly was, but I didn't really know if I was going to reach it this year or not because of the limited amount of games we had. Especially after our first game against SCH, someone like tore their ACL and then they had to cancel the rest of their games for the season. So I knew we would only end up having 5 games, which is such a short amount. But yeah, I knew going into the season I was really close because Coach Chung at the end of last year sent me my stats from all of high school and said, like, you're going to reach it in the first few games of next year and everything like that.
What goals have you accomplished to this point, and what do you still want to accomplish in the future?
Um, I think at this point, my biggest goal throughout high school was reaching 1,000 kills. So I've accomplished that so far. And then I think looking into the future, probably the biggest goal I want to accomplish is doing the same in college. So.
Going back to statistics, there's a lot of volleyball statistics like serving percentage, kills, hitting percentage, blocks, assists, digs. Do you focus on the rest of those as well, and is that something difficult to try to succeed in those areas?
Yeah, I definitely do focus on that, but I don't think as much, which is probably bad on my part. I probably should focus on it a little bit more. But yeah, we don't really like last year we had the stats sent out to us after every game, so I would like look at everything across the board and see what I could improve. But yeah, I kind of do like look at a mix of everything.
What is something that you've learned or taken away from your high school career that you would want other people to know?
I think is honestly to not take it so seriously and kind of just like be able to have fun with it and realize why you started playing your sport in the first place, which is why I honestly love high school season so much. And like GA has given us so much as a team to kind of like go off of. So I don't know. I think it would just be to realize how important the people around you are and how special they will end up being in your life because like it's your high school years. I don't know. I feel like just being surrounded by teammates, being able to play a sport and become close with people is like one of the most special things.
How have you managed all of your responsibilities as a student athlete so successfully?
Oh, it's been so hard. Definitely the hardest part of my life. But I think, I mean, I'm going to say the most basic answer, like time management. But yeah, it's been really hard, especially during club season, getting home from practices at 11, having to study for tests the next day, being up until 3 in the morning. But I think it's just knowing, like, having goals set for yourself that are really specific, which kind of helped me. Like, I knew I wanted to play a sport at a top 10 at ranked academic school, so that like kept me going the whole time.
Is there a piece of advice maybe that you have for younger volleyball players who also want to play in college just like you?
Um, I think my piece of advice would be to take a step back and kind of look at your life overall because I know for the past like 5 years I've gotten so wrapped up in just every single practice, every single tournament, people watching me. Like it was just definitely the most stressful thing I've ever done and thought about in my entire life. So I think it's just to know that it won't always come down to one set of a match or one game or someone's watching you, and just kind of know that there's more opportunities out there.
How has your experience on the GA volleyball team made you a better player and athlete?
I think going back, I think it's just the leadership thing. Like I really learned how to communicate with the people around me by understanding what makes them want to play and what makes them do their best.
You played in a lot of games, tournaments throughout your volleyball career so far. Which one was maybe the most fun playing in, or which one stands out the most?
I think last year during my junior year, our first game against Notre Dame at home when we beat them was definitely the biggest game because we honestly went into it like knowing we were like, oh, we might get crushed, whatever, which is bad, but just me being honest. And then beating them at home for the first game, it was crazy. We were all so excited.
What is something that you've accomplished, individual, team, club, school, that looking back now, it's hard to believe that you've accomplished that?
I think honestly being a captain 3 out of 4 years was the biggest accomplishment for me just because it's so rare. And I don't know, I look around at my club teammates who no one, I was really the only one that's ever done that. So, yeah.
So this year, you had 80 kills in 5 games. That's 16 per game, 4.7 per set. What's amazing is that I did that math myself, but as of about a week ago, that would place you second in the NCAA leaderboard right now for kills per set. Of anyone who's played 10 or more sets, does that give you a lot of confidence heading into college and in the future? What you've
Um,
accomplished?
I mean, yeah, I think so, but I think it's just going to be a matter of adjustment to a new type of game when I get to college. So, yeah.
So when you look back at your accomplishments and legacy at GA, what are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of not like the stats or anything like that, but just I think my impact on the volleyball program in general, just leaving behind a team that is gets really excited about playing and is like a championship winning team.
So our question that came in from our viewers today was, what's the high point of your career at GA?
Oh, this is a tough question. Um, I think it was honestly, even though it was a short season, I think it was this season, especially because after being a varsity player for 4 years, I had seen everyone that was older than me go through the program and graduate. So this year it was like everything was kind of riding on me to uphold what those girls kind of left behind. So I think it was just like not even the fact of going undefeated this year, just the amount of fun and team chemistry we had this year was just so exciting to watch. And like just watching us play back even on video was so exciting because we were all just getting like hyping each other up the whole time, genuinely just excited to watch each other succeed.
So we figure we'd finish off with some rapid fire questions. First one is, what's your daily routine to get ready for a game?
High school game would probably be okay. So this year when we were virtual, I would go through school and everything, maybe like leave my classes a little bit early, kind of lie about how early I had to be at GA. And then I would get to GA extra early before everyone else usually and just get the volleyballs out of the closet in the big gym, start putting the net up, and then just start literally playing around in the gym, just trying to get touches on the ball to get my hands warm and everything, to really get ready. But yeah, other than that, I think just like my normal daily routine and everything.
Best piece of advice that you've gotten?
Oof, this is really hard. Um, Probably, this is like probably the lamest answer ever, but probably to land on 2 feet after I hit so I won't tear my ACL. I've thought about that like every day since.
Well, that's very important. Biggest lesson that you've learned as an athlete?
That things aren't always going to come easily, and that if you want something, you just have to work as hard as you possibly can for it and not give up.
Favorite sports team?
Eagles, obviously.
Go Birds. Favorite sports movie?
42.
Favorite athlete?
Oh, I would have to say Misty May Trainer, she's a volleyball player, and probably no one's gonna even know who she is.
If they made a movie about your life, what would it be called and who would play you?
I think it would be called something along the lines of, I don't even know, something just like a strange title because my life is just so weird. But I think the person who would play me is, I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't even think I can answer that.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Do you have a hidden talent?
My hidden talent is that no, I honestly don't. I wish I could say I could like juggle or something, but I just can't.
I can't either. Favorite pregame song?
Eat, sleep, rave, repeat, honestly.
There you go. If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Definitely grapes. I love grapes.
Most intense volleyball set you've ever played in?
State championship against Notre Dame last year, which we lost, but still intense.
Yeah. Most amazing play you've ever made on a volleyball court?
I think probably in one of my club tournaments when we were playing at nationals, I had to like dive over into the benches to save a ball, and I got it, and we luckily got the point. So yeah.
If you could have lunch with one person, who would it be?
I think it would be, maybe, again, Misty May Trainer, probably, just to find out all of her secrets and why she was so good.
Of course. Well, Natalie Schildt, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck and congratulations on a great high school career, and best of luck moving forward. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep, thank you. This is great.